Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is Daniel Hall, Progressing, Percolating, and Evolving. And today I'm really excited because I'm actually going to walk you through in this tutorial video how you can earn the 70% royalty when you publish public domain content to Amazon's Kindle. Now, this actually is sort of a part two to an earlier video I made on public domain. If you haven't watched that yet, you might want to do that now or later. I'll put the link somewhere up here. And if you are new to the channel and you have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and do that right now. And of course, hit the little like button. That would be very, very useful for the YouTube algorithm and help support the channel. So with that, let's jump into today's training right now. Now, it is permissible to publish public domain material on Amazon as long as you make your books different, which, by the way, according to the Amazon Terms of Service, is either adding illustrations, annotations, or doing a translation. And when you do that, you can be eligible for the 35% royalty. However, there is a way that we're going to cover right now on how to essentially double your royalty on Amazon Kindle to the 70%, and it comes from actually creating what is called a derivative work. So let's actually get this definition down so that you understand what that really means. Essentially, a derivative work is based on or derived from, there's the word, there's the derivative of it, one or more already existing works. So basically, it's a new version of the underlying work. So derivative works include things like translations, musical arrangements, dramatizations, fictionalizations, reproductions, and condensations. Now, here's the nuance, the subtlety, the rub, if you will. Usually, when people talk about derivative works, they're usually basing the derived product on something that's already copyrighted, right? So this would be something like, oh, I don't know, taking Star Wars and then deriving something new from Star Wars. It's a copyrighted work. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is an example of a derivative work. Kind of cool, right? And in that case, you would actually have to ask the underlying copyright holder for permission to make and then sell. You can make it, but you just can't sell it. You can't have any commercial gain from it without at first asking for permission and probably giving some royalties back to the underlying copyright holder. But see, because we are working with public domain content here, and remember, refresher here, public domain material basically means that you or I could use anything that's in the public domain however we want, okay? We can make movies from it, we could do recordings of it, we could write books about it, we could paint art about it. It's all cool, right? You could do whatever you want with the underlying public domain material without paying any royalties and without asking anyone's permission. That's lovely, right? So that's what we do here with these derivative works. You see, you create something brand new out of a public domain book or a public domain work of some kind, and bada bing, you've got something really, really cooking. Typically, this is by adding more original content to the underlying public domain work, okay? And I wanted to give you some examples here of what I'm talking about. And I should also just point out that Walt Disney and the early part of that company, that's how they built their entire empire, was from public domain derived stories. Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, Pinocchio, Cinderella. I mean, all of these, Aladdin, I can go on, Frozen, all these titles came out of Disney. Again, they are public domain based, okay, public domain based, that Disney made their own, therefore making a derivative work. More examples here: Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. Heck, they made a movie out of that one, for crying out loud. Sense, Sensibility, and Sea Monsters. And just so that I could prove to you that there is definitely a market for works like this, I just wanted to show you that Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, the book, not the movie, just the book, is currently making about $751 a month, okay? And further showing you here that you could take and sort of pluck out characters from public domain works like Disney did with Fairest of All. They took the Wicked Witch from Snow White, and look at how much this book is making each and every month. $4,425 a month. And Beauty and the Beast, another public domain work, The Beast Within, making about $1,633 each and every month. By the way, doing this kind of market research is really, really important if you want to succeed with this particular strategy. I recommend and use myself Publisher Rocket. You could do this by hand if you wish, but if you want to, a quick way to do it, use Publisher Rocket. I'll leave my affiliate link in the description below. But here's what you have to keep in mind. You are going to need to take a public domain work and essentially spin it in a different way or update it. Infuse it with your own value, with your own ideas. I want to give you a couple examples here of what I'm talking about. Copywriting secrets used by Lewis Carroll and Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, okay? You see the obvious underlying public domain work, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. You add your own spin, the copywriting secrets part of it, right? Another example, The Practice and Science of Drawing, another very famous book that's in the public domain. You could do the practice and science of drawing in the internet age. You see, you're updating it. That is completely cool to do. The key here is that you need to add your own value to it. So you're going to include your own spin. You're going to apply your own expertise. And heck, if you don't have your own expertise, go get some expertise. Go ask some experts, interview some experts, and summarize what you learn from experts, and that becomes the value add to your book. Now, another question I often get here is, how much do I have to add to the underlying material? And the answer is, you need to add enough. There's no bright line rule here, but just add value. If you're adding value with your additional summaries, with your additional expertise, with your additional spin, you're not going to have a problem with this, okay? Because you are bringing something to the table. And that something is, in fact, copyrightable. That new stuff, that new content that you are adding to the mix is, in fact, eligible for copyright protection. And this is completely different than public domain content, which once the content goes into the public domain, it never comes back out. So keep in mind that derivative works are not public domain, okay? They are not public domain. Yes, the underlying content may be in the public domain. Hopefully it is in the public domain, right? But what you do on top of that is therefore different. It is a derivative work. And as such, and this is the important lesson here, as such, you are now eligible for the 70% royalty on Kindle. That is, as long as you make your book between $2.99 and $9.99, okay? Now, the important thing I want you to understand about doing this strategy is that you could actually bring more product to market faster. And because it's public domain based, you're gonna be able to do that much faster rather than trying to create something out of thin air, right? You have some building blocks. That's how I like to think about public domain material. You have something that you could build upon, and of course, create hopefully an army of these kinds of books so that you could make this kind of passive income in your own Kindle publications, right? And I hope that you got value from today's video. Please let me hear from you in the comments what ideas that this inspired in you. And of course, make sure to give the video a like. That helps tremendously with the YouTube algorithm so I can continue to make these videos. And one last thing, I'll make sure to put the companion video to this one right up here somewhere, somewhere around here. Now go be the blessing.